Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of your Frederichcast. My name's Gary, and here I am once again. Yeah, that's another sunny and beautiful and hot Friday. Well, I'm not sure if that's exactly my favorite weather, but truth of the matter is, TGIF, ladies and gentlemen, thank God it's Friday. And let's do it. Weekend is just ahead of us. What are you up to this weekend? You're gonna throw a party, you're gonna travel, you're gonna stay home and binge watch your Netflix series or other streaming series? Just let me know in the comment section below us. Welcome back. We're here for another episode. I'm so glad you're here listening to me right now. I'm really happy. God bless your life. Well, to be honest, I also really hope that you are not a shy person, because, if you are a shy introvert person, I really hope you do not get offended with today's topic that is precisely about you, about shy people. Well, first of all, before I get ahead of myself, just as usual, have you remembered to go grab your cup of coffee, tea, beer, soda, whatever it takes for you to relax and join us in one more episode. Yeah. So I'm gonna go over shyness, right? Which is the feature, quote unquote, of being spoiler alert, shy person. But more than that, of course, what can be the causes? I'm gonna be wondering a little bit about it, and also I'm gonna read some diagnose by ChatGPT, no other than my buddy co-host here. Is there a way to overcome shyness? If it's possible to have a totally shy person into a extrovert person, popular person who talks to everyone everywhere without any problem. So that's today's episode. If you're curious to know more about it, being you a shy person or an extrovert, a shy person who needs to learn something here and put it into practice in real life, or just an extrovert person who's curious to know more, understand more about your colleagues who, for some reason, do not open their mouths when there's 3 or more people around them, right? So let's just do it. Come on. I'm gonna start talking a little about myself, just as usual, just to keep the podcast pattern here, which is talking about me first. That's an icebreaker, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about me so you guys can feel comfortable, and so you guys can not feel judged, right? Which is totally not the point here. It is not the point here, the purpose of this episode, and it will never be the purpose of this podcast to judge anyone, to make anyone feel bad about themselves, for any reason, all right? So, well, I am not sure if I'm a shy person. It's really hard to say. Well, you may be laughing. I'll go like, come on, man, you got a podcast, you talk online. So how the heck could you possibly consider, being a shy and introvert person? Okay, maybe today not. But when I was a kid or a teenager, I had a really hard time talking to people, making friends, approaching people, and of course, talking to girls, right? Which makes me consider myself at least a average, maybe above average shy kid. But of course, most people I talked to were not much different when they're back in the days, when they were in school and stuff. So, but today, when it comes to, speaking in front of many people, vast majority of my acquaintances do not feel comfortable. Even those who are very good communicators, if you know what I mean. People with good voices to talk, some wits, which means intelligence, to say interesting things in public, they kind of draw themselves back a little bit, be that physically, be that psychologically. I mean, be that in a very clear way to notice, to realize, or be that in a subtle way, which most people don't realize, but I do, you know. So I totally, probably totally fall into this category because I'll be this person if I am to say something in front of many people. I'll probably do that apparently without a problem. Okay, apparently effortlessly. The truth of the matter, deep down, I'm gonna be feeling a little nervous. So I'm gonna just take the white elephant off the room. Talking in public, right? Unless you're a not very, very shy person who would freeze in front of a crowd, of course. But unless this case, you know, you can do that. You can totally do that, okay? Because you see people talking in front of crowds and multitudes, but nobody just parachutes on a stage or a puppet or any place to throw a speech out of the blue without any previous background, speaking to people, to crowds, okay? Even the best orators in history started talking to half a dozen people in a club, in a weekend club, for example. It was not just like, oh, they were born with the gift of throwing speeches. Of course, there is gift, in my opinion. Some people are born with this propension, with this talent. I don't like this word very much, but that's what it is. To talk in public. Yeah, that's right. Some people have it better, okay? But truth of the matter, anyone can do that unless the thing of this triggers a extraordinary reaction. You start sweating, your palms sweating, your, head sweating, you start trembling, words won't come out of your mouth, unless this is the case. Anyone can do that, and more than that. People who do that and are good at it, I mean, speaking in public, they are good at it because they did that many times before. That's the answer of why is someone good at something. For everything, okay? You see these extraordinary piano players, and you go like, oh my gosh, how can they do that? But take a look at the previous life of that person, They just didn't stumble and start playing piano, that moment you're seeing their video on YouTube. That was not the first time their fingers touched a piano key. You know what I mean? So there was lots of practice behind. And why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this because if you're like me and you go like, hey, I'm not a shy person enough to tremble and not being able to speak to people, be that in public. I'm saying public to many people, but some people are shy even to talk one-on-one, okay? I'm not talking about shying in certain circumstances to certain people at certain moments. I'm talking about being shy all the time at everybody, okay? But if that's the case, what I'm trying to say here is you can overcome that, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. If you just keep doing what you want to do, sooner than later, it's going to be automatic. And then no matter, you won't even think about it. If you don't think about it, you cannot get shy, okay? Because getting shy, I don't even know if that's the correct way to say that, but getting shy over something is something you think about it. You cannot get shy over something you never think about it, So it's much more a mental suffering than anything else. That's what I'm trying to say. But let's take a look what ChatGPT has got to say about the main characteristics of shy people. Let's take a look at it. All right, so characteristic number 1. They're quiet and reserved. They tend to speak less, especially in unfamiliar or social situations. Well, most people are like that, aren't they? Number two, avoids attention. They may feel uncomfortable being the center of attention and prefer to stay in the background. Again, most people. Three, nervous in social settings. They might experience anxiety, blushing, or fidgeting when interacting with others. Excuse me. Yeah, you guessed it. Normal people. Four, prefers small. They prefer small groups or solitude. They often feel more at ease in one-on-one interactions or alone rather than in large social gatherings. Five, slow to open up. They take time to trust and feel comfortable around new people. Number six, self-conscious. They may worry about how others perceive them or fear saying the wrong thing. I want to make an observation here. Most shy people are pretty conscious people, meaning pretty intelligent people. Uh, people with good power of reflection, if you know what I mean. Number seven, avoids contact. Some shy individuals struggle to maintain direct eye contact due to nervousness. Soft spoken. Their voice may be quieter or hesitant when they do speak. Number nine, overthinks social interaction. Remember, they think a lot. They're intelligent. They're usually smart people. So they overthink social interactions. They may replay conversations in their head and analyze their behavior. Number 10, prefers written communication. Some shy people find it easier to express themselves through writing rather than speaking. Well, good luck to these people of item number 10, because on WhatsApp it's much better to record audio messages than writing them. So, just saying. Now, the question that won't go away: is it possible to cure shyness? Well, I don't mean shyness is a disease or sickness, but I'm gonna use the verb cure here just for communication purpose. All right? So, is it possible to do that? Is it possible to overcome, to cure it, to stop being shy at all? Well, my honest answer, no. But you can totally walk around it, basically. You know, you can totally get going with that, despite of it. You know, despite of of your shyness, of your feelings, of your thoughts. You can just get going. You can do things. You can talk to people. You know, let me talk about the greatest fear men have: talking to women. I mean, single men, of course, right? Talking to in a flirting purpose, of course, right? So you can do that even being the most shy person ever, okay? You just gotta work around. I'm not saying it's easy. That's another story. But I'm saying it is possible. But again, let's take a look of what ChatGPT has got to tell us. Okay, so a few tricks or strategies to try to overcome shyness. Stop being an introvert person. Number one, challenge negative thoughts. Identify self-doubt or fears. People will judge me, for example, and replace them with positive thoughts and feelings. Like, people are friendly and understanding. Well, that's an interesting strategy, ChatGPT, but I would just slightly and respectfully change that. This people are friendly and understanding I don't care about what people think of me. This will never be entirely true, but it's something that will help you, I promise. Strategy number two, start small. Begin with low-pressure social interactions, such as greeting a cashier or making small talk with a colleague. Oh, that's totally a good strategy. That is great. That will work. Okay, you start small. You talk to people. If you're young and you're scared to talk to women, start talking to old women. Okay, because first of all, the chances of getting a rejection. When I say rejection, don't get me wrong here. Rejection of, hey, I don't want to talk to you, I don't have time, for example, which could completely happen, could completely come from a teenager, you know, or a young woman. I'm not saying this is a rule, but there's much more chance of you having that from a young woman than from an old woman or an older woman. Okay. Number 3, practice social skills. Role play conversations, practice speaking in front of a mirror, or record yourself to gain confidence. Well, don't just hang yourself entirely into that. Don't exaggerate, but that's a good idea. Yeah, I agree with you, Chetty. Number 4, focus on others, not yourself. Shift attention away from your own nervousness by actively listening and asking questions in conversations. Great. 5, use body language. Maintain good posture, smile, and make eye contact to appear more confident. That works all the time. But you gotta learn that. You gotta practice and learn that, because sometimes you forget it because it needs to be natural, okay? Or you just do that for a few seconds and go back to the quote unquote default mode, which will totally spoil and destroy your acting, your strategy. 6, control your breathing. Take slow, deep breaths before and during social interactions. Calm anxiety. Yeah, this breathing strategy, they say it works. It's very good, but I never managed to have it okay when I try to do that, when I try to pull this off. But who am I? It didn't work for me, but it could totally work for you. So give it a try. 7, join social activities. Participate in clubs, hobby groups, or public speaking programs like Toastmasters to practice interacting with others. That's a very good strategy, because this brings something that also will help you if you're a shy and introvert person. That is finding hobbies, okay? Oh, but I got a lot of hobbies, or I got a few hobbies. Great. Just go and meet people with the same hobbies. I promise you, it will be much easier to talk to them, And next thing you know, you're talking to people, you're not nervous, all right? Number 8, stop overanalyzing. Don't dwell on past conversations or worry too much about what others think. Most people are focused on themselves. Well, a very good strategy is doing something embarrassing in public, like lying on the floor, for example, and pay attention to people's reaction. First, they're gonna look at you as like, is he okay? Does he need a doctor or something? But the minute they see you're okay, you're just doing that because you want to, they will go back to taking care of their lives, Of course, I don't recommend doing that anywhere, because like, especially in big cities, there's always crazy people around you. They will understand it as, and justifiably, I would say, as a door opening to an interaction, Can you imagine you just lying on the floor to prove to yourself that you don't care of what other people think about you and what is their reaction at all about it? And next thing you know, a homeless person is rubbing himself or herself on your legs or peeing at you. I don't know, It's a kind of dangerous idea, but that's me. That's not ChatGPT, all right? I just say about stop overthinking, right? About dwell on past conversations, and that's what he said. Number 9, prepare talking points. This for speeches, of course. Have a few topics in mind, for example, current events, hobbies, to avoid awkward silences. Oh, this is not only to speech, this is to interacting with people and everything, having, a list of topics. Well, that's interesting, that's good, but I kind of disagree with the last part, the awkward silence. Not that I don't believe it, of course, there's awkward silence, but it is awkward only if you think it is awkward, okay? If you don't have anything to say, just don't say. All right. Of course, make sure you have lots of questions to ask, you interact with people, so you can. But the moment you realize that conversation has become an interview, meaning you were only asking questions, and they're responding, they're not asking questions back. It's a sign. It's a proof that the conversation is over, or it was never a conversation at all. So don't worry too much about awkward silence. Just make sure you have things to ask, and if the person is not asking questions back or interacting with the things you say, you just go away. Number 10, celebrate small wins. Acknowledge progress, no matter how small, to build confidence over time. Well, that's a tip. That's a word of advice that can pretty much fit into anything. But let me know your thought about it. Were these tips to fight shyness, to stop being an introvert, useful to you? Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below. This is it for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for your lovely and wonderful company. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.